Hello everybody, I'm Holly and today I'm going to be doing an Egyptian inspired makeup look for all my belly dance girls for this Saturday. So let's get started. Okay, so the foundation I'm going to be using today is the Studio Fix Fluid by MAC, and my shade that I'm using today is NW13. I've chosen this foundation because it's quite matte and it's quite full coverage. So what this is going to do is, obviously the coverage is great for, excuse me if I'm looking over here, I've got my mirror here. The good coverage is obviously going to be good for stage makeup, and a matte formula helps to stop you looking shiny, obviously when you've got lights and cameras flashing, and obviously the stage lights on your face, it can make you look a little bit sweaty if you're quite shiny. So this is a good all-round one for being on stage. I'm just applying this with a damp beauty blender. I'm just bringing that down onto my neck a little bit as well, just to avoid the dreaded foundation and neck skin tone difference. I'm going to move on to concealer, and today I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. This is quite a cheap one, you can get it in Tesco, and I don't know what the shade is, but oh okay, it's shade 15. I believe that is the lightest one. So I'm just going to take this under my eyes, just where it's darkest here and a little bit on the outer corner there. I'm going to take that on any blemishes, any spots, any bits of redness. So you can see I've got a nice little spot up here in my hairline. I'm just going to pop a little bit on there. And I've got a couple of little problem areas on my chin. I'm just going to take that beauty blender again and take the pointy end this time, and I'm just going to blend in those ones over the blemishes. You don't want to blend these too much, because otherwise you're just going to wipe the product away from where you've put it initially to cover up those spots or any bits of redness. So just tap gently until you can't see the edges anymore. And then when it comes to the eyes, I'm just going to use that sponge to get right in the corner and then just drag it out. Just brighten up that whole area, and just with whatever's left on the sponge, just bring that over my eyelid. Okay, so once that's all nicely blended, I'm just going to powder a few areas of the face where I do get a little bit shiny. So generally most people tend to get quite shiny around the T-zone, down the nose and on the chin. So that's exactly where I'm going to powder today. And I'm using a full coverage powder. This is MAC's Studio Fix, and again in the shade NW13. So I'm just going to take that powder in the middle of my forehead and just across the tops of my brows. And a little bit up there. Down my nose, on the sides of my nose especially, and on my chin, just to set that concealer as well, and under the eyes just to set there. So before I do bronzer and blush and the rest of the face powders, I'm going to start directly straight onto the eyes. So I'm going to start by priming my lids with the Maybelline 24-Hour Colour Tattoo. This one is in Creme de Rose, and for me it's very similar to my skin tone, so you can use any sort of sticky base that's a similar tone to your skin, and I'm just going to pop that all over the lid. These are fantastic. I find that they absolutely do not budge on me. Hands down, best primer I've ever used. It starts by just grabbing quite a fluffy blending brush, and I'm just going to pop that into my face powder that I used earlier, and I'm just going to set the area from just the crease upwards. So I'm going to set the brow bone and down to the crease. I'm not going to put any powders on the eyelid because we want that to stay nice and grippy for the colour we're going to put on there. This arrived for me today from Beauty Bay, honestly one of my favourite places to buy makeup ever. This is the Morphe 35P palette, which is a 35 colour palette, and it's all plum shades. So there's a lot in here. I think this is reading very blue on this camera, but I can assure you that it is purple. So to start with, I'm going to take this colour here, so the second one in this Morphe palette, through the crease, and you can see that it's very pigmented and it is going on quite strong on my fair skin. So the trick is apply a little, blend a lot. It's always a good idea to stop every now and again and just look straight head on into your mirror so you can see where you might be uneven. So you can see that obviously this outer corner is darker than this one. I need to bring it up a little bit higher, so just keep checking and do your best to try and make them as even as you can. I have very, very wonky eyes, so they're never going to be exactly the same, which is absolutely fine. But it's always nice for them to be as similar as possible. Okay, I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to grab a slightly smaller, more tapered brush. So that's going to be this one today. And this is the Zoeva Luxe Petite Crease. And I'm just going to take a slightly more rich purple. So I'm going to take this bright purple shade and I'm just going to mix it with a little bit of this more red purple shade here. So just mix in between the two, tap off the excess, and I'm just going to pop this right in the crease. So we're going to create a little bit of a line between the top part of the eye and the lid. So I'm just putting it in the socket of the eye and just running that back and forth, completely following my eye shape. Okay, so we've got the top part of the eyeshadow done. What I'm going to do is just on that same brush I was just using to go into the crease, I'm going to go back into the first colour I used, which was this one. And I'm just going to take that underneath the eye. Okay, so for my gold today, I've got really old, I'm not sure if you'll still be able to get this, but you can use any shimmery gold loose pigment. So I'm using the Miss Sporty Shimmer Dust, and it's in the colour 009 Allure. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to grab a flat eyeshadow brush, just your average shader brush, and I'm going to spritz it with Fix Plus. So anything wet will do really. You can use water or a mixing medium or Fix Plus, anything that's going to dampen the brush. So now I'm going to take the Shimmer Dust, which is just in the pot like that. It's very, very shimmery. And I'm going to take a tiny bit onto the brush, just like that. And then in the cap, I'm going to mix a little paste. So just in the cap, mix an eyeshadow paste. And it's at this point where it starts looking like liquid metal and it makes me really happy. So you see that on the brush there, very shimmery, very metallic. So this is going to go on the space where we've not put any eyeshadow yet. So just with that, I'm going to take it onto the eyelid. You can see how high shine that is already. And I'm just going to pop it directly under the eyelashes in the middle of the eye there. I'm going to be using a felt tip eyeliner because I find they are so user friendly and they're very, very easy to get used to for beginners in particular. So if you're not very experienced with doing eyeliner, a felt tip liner is a fantastic one to start with. I know that Maybelline have one called, I'm going to be using the Too Faced sketch marker. just in black. So the shape we're going to be aiming for is a winged eyeliner, and we're also going to be doing a wing underneath, and we're going to be connecting it around the whole eye, which is what makes this look quite Egyptian. So I'm just going to start. It's very easy if you hold the eyeliner pen horizontally towards your eye, so you'll be able to just drag the tip across the lashes. You want to start by just building up the line, and we are going right into the inner corner with this one. Try and make it as thin as you possibly can. Okay, so we've got that line going from the very inner corner to the outer corner. So now what you want to do to create your wing is I tend to line it up with the end of my eyebrow. So if I just point the pen towards the end of my eyebrow and drag backwards, we've created a wing shape. And then all you need to do there is just join up that line on your eyelid to the one that you've dragged in, and then fill in the gaps. So for the bottom liner, we're going to do pretty much the same thing, except for it's going to be just underneath the bottom lashes, and you want this line to be very thin, because I find that if you do liner on the bottom it can look quite draggish, so we're going to try and avoid that. And when you get to the inner corner, all you're going to do is just line right in that tear duct area there. The next thing we're going to do is create the wing from the bottom line. So what you want to do is try and make it parallel to the existing wing. So what I'm going to do is just from the very edge here is drag the liner to create another wing, like that. And then same as we did here, just fill in that space and join the main body of the line to that wing, and obviously thicken it up and smooth out the edges as best you can. The last part of the eyeliner is to create the cat shape on the inner corner. So to do that, all we're going to do is draw a little point just coming from the very edge of the tear duct. So sorry for, obviously this isn't the greatest view, but I'm going to try my best to show you exactly what I'm doing. So I'm just creating a small dot and then joining that to the line of the upper liner, like that. So that's one continuous line. And then at the bottom I'm just gonna fill in that little triangle to create a very feline shape, like that. So we've got that double flick and the cat liner. I'm gonna do my other eye. I won't talk you through that. Okay, so I've got the liner done on both eyes. You can see there's the double wing on both sides and these little feline parts. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tightline my eyes. Okay, so to tightline the eyes I'm going to use the Rimmel Scandalise waterproof pencil. This is an absolutely fabulous pencil. It doesn't budge and it stays in the waterline very well. So I'm just going to line the top waterline. So the easiest way to do this is to look straight down into a mirror and just run that pencil on the flesh parts, on the flesh coloured parts that you can see. and the waterline. So we've made that very black now. You can really see the difference between this eye and this eye. So I'm just going to repeat the same on the other eye. So that's the eyes almost done. All we're going to do now is just pop on some mascara. You can by all means put on false lashes with this, it would look amazing. Some really pulled out false lashes would look great with this. But for now I'm just going to put on some mascara. So mascara I'm going to be using today is the Maybelline Lash Sensational Luscious Oil Blend. It's the one in black tube with the Okay, so that's the eyes done. Next thing I'm going to do is, because I look like a bit of an alien at the moment, I'm just going to pop on some powder through my eyebrows. Benefit Gimme Brow in number 3, which is, I think it's called medium. I have a sample size at the moment, so I'm just going to pop that through my brows. And this is a volumizing gel, so it makes the hairs that you do have, if you have sparse eyebrows, it makes the hairs look thicker and darker than they actually are, which is great. So I'm just brushing all of the hairs upwards so that I've got a clear idea of where the base line of my brow should be. I think with a look like this, especially for stage as well, you can get away with quite strong eyebrows. So as well as using this, I'm going to put some quite dark brow powder through. Okay, so I've got that through my brows. You can already see they look a lot thicker and darker than they were 5 minutes ago. So I'm just going to grab my brow colour, which at the moment is in a Collection Eyes Discovered nude palette. It's the darkest one at the end. You can see I'm almost run out. So I'm just going to grab that on an angled liner brush, and this is the Zoeva Wing Liner. I'm just going to start at the very base of the eyebrow here and just make a line where the bottom of my eyebrow is for that first half. And then I'm just going to carry on, lining the base of the eyebrow. This should be quite easy. Your brows are all brushed up because you should be able to see the line. What I'm going to do next, I'm just going to grab a little bit more on my brush and start flicking the colour upwards into the body of the brow. I find that the front half of my brows are quite thick and quite dark anyway, so I don't have to put much colour in there to fill in any gaps. You can see that's already very dark. So again, just flicking that colour through the body of the brow. When it comes to drawing in an arch, all I usually do is follow where the last hairs are on here and then just bring the line down to meet that tail end. So the last brow hairs are about there, so I'm just going to follow that line and bring it down to the tail, and then obviously fill in any gap from the body to the tail. Okay, so that's my brows done. They are slightly different shapes. You can see that the arches aren't quite exactly the same shape, but that's absolutely no worries and I don't mind that. So I'm going to move on to the rest of the face, the rest of the skin. So for that, I'm going to start with bronzer. So I'm just going to get a big fluffy bronzer brush. Today I'm going to be using the Hoola bronzer by Benefit. This is a sample. I haven't got the full size at the moment. So I'm just going to swirl my brush into the product, just tap off the excess, and I'm going to take it just along the cheekbones, sort of a little bit forward onto the apples of the cheeks as well. And you can take it up into the hairline at the temple as well, and a little bit down onto the back of the jaw and just under the jawline. And move my hair just off of my face and go into the hairline a little bit there. Because obviously the idea of bronzer is to make you look bronzed. So you're going to put it where the sun would naturally hit your face. So that is cheekbones and around the top of the hairline on the forehead. I like to put a little bit across my nose, but that's completely optional. Probably a good idea to just take a little bit down your neck as well, just so that your body is cohesive with your face. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to highlight. So for this look, obviously we've used gold on the eyes quite heavily, so I'm going to take a gold toned highlighter, and it's from the Sleek Solstice palette, and I'm going to be using this gold toned one here. So I'm just going to grab that with my finger and just pop it right on the tops of the cheekbones, and we're going to be very glowy, just on the tops of the cheekbones there, and a tiny bit more just under the brow bone, like that, and a little bit just above here. So in a kind of C shape from here. Also just going to put a tiny bit down the centre of my nose and just blend that in, and a little bit on the cupid's bow. Okay, so we're nearly there. All that's left is the lips. So like I said earlier, I prepped my lips by just putting on some lip balm. I'm going to be using quite a nude kind of pink colour. It's nude for my skin tone, so I'm using the Rimmel Kate Moss Lasting Finish in number 8, which is pretty good for my skin tone. Okay, so the lip liner I'm going to be using as well, just to match that, is the Rimmel Exaggerate Full Colour in the colour East End Snob. So the first thing I'm going to do is just line my lips. I'm also just filling in my lips with this as well. I'm just going to take that lipstick and go right over the top. Okay, so this is my Egyptian inspired makeup look, complete with bold brows, bold liner and bold skin. I hope everyone enjoys, and I hope there's something that you can try and replicate. Eyeliner does need practice, so I would recommend definitely giving that a few goes before you try and do it on the day. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be hopefully uploading more this week, so I'll speak to you all soon. Bye!